I made breakfast sausage today and some pancakes for James, and I'm having a spirulina drink instead because it's just as sweet as that.
Of the pancakes.
Yeah, instead of the pancakes. You can see that this is what I've made him, 2/3 of a cup of pancakes. So you can see that the carbohydrates, 38 grams minus 7 grams, that's it's still way too much carbs for me. So that's lots of protein and it's delicious. I think that's a great product, but it's just not for a keto diet. So brown rice protein powder, I did a different thing. I wrote down 3 different recipes for breakfast sausage spices, and I did my own thing from there. So we're going to talk about the Riot and the Dance, which got top of the stack against these other films. And I have to say I didn't really care for any.
Any of them?
No, I did not. So
we already talked about CSI, right? Even though we watched a bit more.
See, I still have belly, still have jiggly
A
here.
little bit, but I'm telling you,
and I still have some armpit boob.
If you're wondering about a diet, like you haven't done the 2-week 18-pound loss and then a plateau diet, so keep that in mind, folks.
No, I'm trying to have a healthy diet. So this, I made I totally just invented this veggie sausage recipe myself. So this time it was a little bit dry. I put too much of the brown rice protein powder in, and I should have put more almond butter into it. But aside from that, I kept tasting it while I was going to see, okay, I need more of this, whatever, right? And I think I did a pretty good job on it anyway. Now, I made 10 of these. I made a lot more the mix, and then I'll adjust the mix from tasting this and see what. Anyway, so I made 10 of these today, and I gave James 4, and I took 6 because he's having already 23 grams of protein with his pancakes. That's a lot. And these amount of sausage is a little bit over 50 grams of protein for the 10 sausages. It's quite a lot because, well, I didn't know they put brown rice protein powder in it. I put tofu and pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds. I think that's it for protein. Anyway, so lots of protein. It's tasty, just a bit dry. If I put almond butter more, better. Now for me, I could put more spice in. But for James, what do you think?
Pretty good.
Would you like more spice in?
You take just a bit more, but
just a bit more even for James.
It's pretty close.
So there you go.
Tastes a bit like sausage. I'm not a big fan of sausages. I used to like them okay.
So
they really are kind of gruesome.
Yeah, it's way better to just make your own.
Vegetarian.
Yeah.
Because I've known people who've made their own sausage. It would be it was at the cop shop generally. I think there's a couple of cops who are very proud of their venison sausage. And
well,
it was
that's
actually
skill.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that than meat that's grown in highly unsanitary, and gruesome living conditions.
Mm-hmm. I could have made this a bunch of different ways, but since I'm doing the keto thing, it had to be keto. So, this is the first time I've ever made this like this.
Now yours are made the same way as
Yeah.
the ones.
Yep.
Yours seem to be sticking together, but I'm using a fork for it.
Yeah, they're still a bit dry though. I put too much of the brown rice protein powder in.
Okay. Anyway, to me it doesn't matter. I'd chop the sausages up anyway into pieces.
I knew.
Some people might want to look a bit like a cigar or something like that. Chow down on the end of it. But eating regular sausages is just a low class experience. People miss it, I don't know.
Alright. So, I'm not terribly jealous of your pancakes because I get this. And this is pretty delicious. But
Pancakes are pretty good.
I'm thinking of making my own keto pancake tomorrow, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Because I'm just inventing it. This is too warm. But I don't think I want to just wear the
Very
bikini
warm
top
day.
right now.
It's in 2 figures. That's in centigrade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to go to plus 18 today.
Probably 12 above or more.
It's probably plus 18 now.
It's about a little afternoon, so who knows what's going to be.
Anyway, I'll try to keep the sweater on. Might have to take it off. But I'm a little bit embarrassed about the belly stuff. Anyway, the riot and the dance. So, this was surprising. I didn't expect, it starts out and he's talking about God and everything. And I'm like, you know, and then he says, well, I'm a biologist, I think he said, but I'm a Christian first. And then he's talking about his family. He has 5 children and stuff like that. He's talking about how God gave us all the animals, you know.
Us.
Yeah.
As people.
Yeah, humans. And we're made in God's image and all that. I don't know. He's talking about reading the scriptures and everything, and I'm not sure that his interpretation is maybe the same as mine. He's certainly a very, very, very different kind of person than I am. But like he uses the word managing nature, managing the animal species, and I don't believe that.
Most people who do that just don't do a very good job of that.
No, I believe that nature manages itself without our help, and if we want to manage nature, it should be managing ourselves.
That's what a lot of it is.
So, like for example, not having 5 children right now in this world that is overpopulated with humans. Because more people equals less nature. So if you love nature, there is no other way you can better show your love for nature than by not having more children than will replace you.
So 5 is way above.
5 is way above. It should be 1 child per person. You replace yourself with 1 child, I replace myself with one child, James replaces himself with one child, and then the population stays the same of the earth. But the population of humans in the earth is already way too much. What do we do? Well, we certainly don't have 5 children. Anyway.
Yeah, so, I want to say, like there some people would say, oh, there's a huge imbalance right now happening. And the imbalance is not total numbers, it's increasing of people of color, as they're called, vis-a-vis whites. I can't be concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is nasty people increasing their numbers too much. So I'm not enthused about Christians having 5 kids. Doesn't help out anyone. Same sort of thing with Muslims. Doesn't help anyone with them having 5 or more kids. Any more than 2 per couple, 1 per person. Nazis having a huge number of kids. Doesn't help anyone out. Commies having a huge number of kids. Doesn't help anyone out. So this is not when we raise an issue about overpopulation, it's not an issue about race or nationality. No. It is, however, an issue about democracy. You cannot have people who believe in democracy being overpopulated by people who just swamped by people who don't believe in democracy. And the people who don't believe in democracy
I would think that this guy would believe in democracy.
Christians have a hard time with democracy. You'll get Christians saying, well, the ideal polity is a dictatorship where God rules. But maybe we'll put up with democracy. This is a Mormon talking.
Oh. Anyway, I have a hard time with organized religion, even Christian religion, which I am actually a big fan of Jesus, but I don't like organized religion at all. I believe that Christianity is meant to be, you're meant to have follow a personal path with Jesus. So I don't believe that there should be some church higher powers or anybody telling me their interpretation of the Bible and how I should follow it. I believe that it's a personal path. So I have some things here that I'm like, okay, the Jesus film. See, I brought these home because I thought James would like to watch them, and he said, I don't like watching Jesus films. I like reading the Bible for the
that's what it's about.
So, and he's right. That's what it's about. And
I'm trying to read it in the original. Original language, yes, plural. Hebrew,
Greek and Hebrew,
Aramaic in the Old Testament, for the Old Testament, and Hellenistic Greek for the New Testament. That's the only thing that really matters, or should matter for Christians.
So, anyway, I did have the problem about the whole managing. I do agree with him about if you want to try to know God, then, he was saying read what God, like he was explaining, well, if you want to know Michelangelo, you read everything that Michelangelo wrote and you look at all of his art and everything like that. And he was comparing that to trying to know God, right? And so it would be, not, some would say, well, the Bible is God's word. Well, it's not. It's really not. It wasn't written by God. It was written by humans. Read the Bible and look at, more importantly, I think, look at nature. I don't believe that humans were made in God's image. I don't believe that when God comes to a human, it makes sense that God comes to a human in the image of, it appearing as a human, because that's how we would better understand, probably, right? Better relate. But the whole being made in God's image, I look at that a bit more abstractly, and I think that, well, every living being has energy flowing through it, or something like that, and that's the image of God, is the energy flow, or whatever, right? It's not necessarily, oh yeah, God looks like James, or me, or Donald Trump.
The Elephant Man, or Donald
whatever.
Trump, that's
sure,
incredible.
Whatever.
His angels would be laughing.
And like, sometimes I've kind of joked on the square with people, and they've gotten a little bit offended by me, by what I've said. Like I said, God could look like a horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crabs have been around a really long time. Well, they were having a lot of trouble, thanks to the Chinese. Thank you, Chinese.
Thank you. We should say the People's Republic
and then they were,
China.
Yeah, we should. And then I watched a film a while ago, a documentary, and they were saying, they were talking about how great the People's Republic of China was, because they're bringing back the horseshoe crab that they had killed. So, I mean, you can't pat yourself on the back and go, oh, we're such great environmentalists. Anyway, that's another matter.
Sounds like
But
Chinese
is it really? I mean, it's managing nature. And a lot of the time, if you look at, this species is having trouble, and you really look into why they're having trouble, it goes back to what humans are doing.
Someone's causing the trouble.
So it's not managing nature. A lot of the time people think, this population's too high. Let's go kill a bunch of wolves or something like that, because no, that's not how you look at it. That's not how you manage nature.
The pigeons are getting out of hand. They're pooping on statues, and the acid is eating up the statues.
Yeah.
Well, just put duplicate statues out.
Anyway.
And put them in the Louvre or something like that, the real statues. I have a real problem with people killing pigeons. They're rock dogs.
I do. I know they're not native or anything, but they're...
Well, they're used to living on rocks and stuff like that. So buildings are kind of like
they're really
rocks.
Nice animals. I like having them around. Anyway, I mean, so what? They're in cities. So are we, and this is not natural. So...
I've never had a pigeon treat me nasty the way so many people have treated me. So.
It's very weird listening to this. I would actually recommend you do watch this DVD. I put it on top of the stack. It was there's a lot of information in here. He shows a lot of animals, talks about what different things about them. I didn't know that the thing about pit vipers seeing an infrared or something like that. Did you know that?
Something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, and I didn't know about the snakes that jump to the trees. Didn't jump to the... That's awesome. So lots of different animals, lots of different things that I didn't know anything about, and I'm really glad that he taught me and other people by making this film. But
Thought you
so
and we could teach him a little bit about being a Christian, I'm afraid, but that's the way it goes.
I don't know.
Well, we could.
Anyway,
Well, I could.
Well, it's not for me to teach. It's not for anybody to teach. It's
Not
his
that I
personal
want to,
path, and
but,
he needs to. That's how I believe. It is.
Like if he's spreading it around, he should be corrected.
Yeah,
That's
well, he
all
was
I'm saying.
talking about. I was a little put off when he was talking about the sea lions. So, okay, yeah, we have a hard time. I don't think there's any human that'll go, yeah, sea lions, they're awesome. I mean, the big, huge males basically raping his harem of females that are small, and she's screaming, and how could anybody think, that's awesome? And they're not attractive. I guess maybe they think each other, maybe they're, I mean,
Who knows?
Who knows? There's probably creatures that look at us and go, wow, that's an ugly creature. So it all depends on, I guess, your perspective.
It's relative.
Yeah. But he
a lot of people would think meat is
wasn't that hot with it, you know.
Yeah.
Or
So
Ozzy Osbourne, or whatever.
he was talking about how when the resurrection comes, and I guess he would mean that the, because the resurrection already came.
Is he
But
believing that, or he's
What?
believing in the future resurrection?
he's the future one. But anyway, he says when the resurrection comes, then the shores of the New Eden won't have sea lions or something like that, because they're awful creatures or whatever, right? Or aggressive or something. And I'm like, huh? No, that's God. That
you
sea
just
lion
say?
is God. That's every living creature, every living flower, that's God. So it's not just you look at other humans and go, oh yeah, that's God. No. You look at a butterfly and a hummingbird and a whatever, and blade of grass. That's all a part of God. So is the sea lion. And you look at nature and you learn a whole bunch of things about God. And when you look at the Bible, sometimes you think, man, that guy was a real jerk. How can you say you like God when he does this and he did this and he, at one point he says, oh yeah, you don't have to sacrifice your kids to me anymore. But he used to like that.
No.
So
No.
James doesn't think so.
I know so.
Okay.
Never.
Well, how can you say never if it used to happen?
It used to happen, but the God is presented in the Bible. There's no requirement of that. It's just when the Abraham moves from a place that got rid of human sacrifice, he'd believe in it, and to a place where even thousands of years later they're still sacrificing their children in tough situations. When he's requiring Abraham to sacrifice his son, it's just for that one instance, and it's to teach him a lesson. Abraham's just moved to this new land where it was traditional for people to sacrifice their kids. In Mesopotamia it was, and then they gave it up. And so the whole thing is prepared. I think it's Mount Moriah, presumably where Jerusalem is now, or roughly the area. And so Isaac, the son, is saying, he's been brought along. He says, we've got the fuel for making the sacrifice. We've got a place like an altar, a rock set up for a sacrifice, but where's the sacrifice? And then Isaac has to lie down there, and Abraham's getting ready to whack him. And then it's something like an angel or something like that says, don't do it, or God himself says, I've forgotten the exact detail. And it's to demonstrate that you don't do that. But it's the setting for it. It's like he's already been raised in that atmosphere where you don't do it in
nature.
Sumer.
It happens. There are the birds. Some birds have to compete with their siblings in the nest, and have to. The weaker ones get killed. Even parents, I think loons or something? They'll kill their babies. Like the weak babies, they'll just keep picking on them until they're dead. Like it's one of those water birds that it's really sad.
Well,
and
it's sad that they get weak and they die anyway. So they're
getting
rid of them so the others can survive.
So it's, it used to be in certain cultures, let's say, I'm not going to say let's say nomadic hunters and gatherers, if a woman had a child while she was still nursing another, I guess it was the new one would get exposed, because already, the one that had survived for a little while would have acquired some immunities and stuff like that. You can't have both of them die. It seems cruel. That's the way it is.
I know, but it's a kind of sacrifice of one's children. And
it's kind of, you don't know where this stuff came from. It was very popular amongst the Canaanites. And the Canaanites, when the Bible says Canaanites, my suspicion it was Phoenicians had kind of spread their influence in them. The Phoenicians, I think, even when they spread their way south of Rome, northern part of Africa, and even further afield, they were still sacrificing their kids in certain bad situations. I think that would be around the time of the Romans. So now this is a different chronology for Abraham, and it's something like the proper chronology for Abraham. Abraham dates to before 2500 BC. So 2500 years later, the Phoenicians, they are called Punic by the Romans. Phoenician, hopefully you can see the similarity. Phoenician is PH. You'd probably pronounce it in the Greek P with a H after it. Aspirated P or something like that. Punic. Anyway, yeah, the Romans didn't have that sound, so they just went with a P. But they were doing 2,500 years later. How much time? 5?
3 minutes. So I'm going to talk about this, the rest of the stuff later. I'm going to talk about every little thing because it has to go back.
Yeah.
It's about hummingbirds, but really it's about this woman, Terry Massier, who tries to rescue hummingbirds that have injured themselves or been injured, maybe cats, whatever, in Los Angeles. And I guess she has 4 graduate degrees. She didn't say what in. I don't think any of them are in ornithology or entomology or anything like that. I think probably fine arts, English. I don't know.
And who knows where they're from? I mean, they could be some flunky religious college or something like that.
Yeah. But anyway, while I was watching this, I watched this first while I was working out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so... Really, it should be maybe 20 minutes long or something like that. It's way too long. And because it's feature length. And what they could have done, I was thinking, is put somebody who actually knows about the hummingbirds. Like, I don't know, maybe biologist, maybe an ornithologist, and have them, talk about the type of hummingbird for a little while, and then go back to scenes with her that show her trying to rehabilitate these birds and feed them and stuff. I mean, it's impressive that she manages to save some of them. And it's a nice thing that she tries to do. It's just not very entertaining. So I wouldn't recommend this, and I mean the other things went below that. So I have to say, the bottom of the stack, My Dear Redeemer. I feel bad for Tabor Public Library for having bought this. I guess they only paid $4.95 for it, but I put this on, and I'm like, okay, so it starts off with a music video, and then I'm like, what? That's all there is? 3 minutes. That's what you get.